I'm telling you the facts. Okay? So I hope you get a clear understanding, right? So how long would that take to discover the vaccine? As a doctor, I tell you, okay? My guess, minimum 2 years. Today there's fake news everywhere. Oh, this place discover a vaccine. This place discover a vaccine. Don't believe. All that is for publicity. If you have a company and you say you discovered something, news, you become famous. My dear brothers and sisters, to this session of Pastors International Club Indonesia. I believe today's topic will be very, very useful and interesting. I believe that it's very needful at this time. The world is facing a crisis that has totally shocked us. Nobody anticipated this crisis. I was not anticipating this. I thought this was going to be much milder, but it has turned out to be much more than what I thought and what most people thought. Now we need to understand this crisis as leaders of God's people. And I hope I can help you because of my background. Now, this problem is basically a medical problem. And I trained as a doctor. Many of you may know this, may not know this. I've trained as a doctor almost 50 years ago. I graduated from the University of Singapore. Started a medical group that, thank God, became the largest medical group in Singapore at that time. When I was called by God to serve Him full-time as a pendeta, I left my job as a doctor. I sold my practice. It was a large practice. I sold it to the largest group, medical group in Singapore at that time. Many of you may be familiar with the name Mount Elizabeth. Why am I telling you all this? To tell you that I believe I have some useful information for you as a doctor. And if we don't understand the medical side of this coronavirus problem, then we will be very easily confused and we will believe lots of fake news. COVID-19 was first identified in China about 6 months ago. In this 6 months, thousands of scientists, thousands of hospitals are trying to study this virus. I tell you what we know about this virus now. Very little. After 6 months, this virus is identified as a name. We know the virus. We know some things about it, but not a lot. And so you will keep hearing different opinions. But there are some things that are no more opinions. Some of the things now have become facts. Number one, it is super contagious. Very few infections ever are as contagious as this one. Why? Because most people who have this virus do not know they have it. Say, why? Because most people who have this virus have very mild symptoms. Not only mild, very common symptoms. So common and so mild that they think it's either a flu, maybe I'm tired, maybe I talk too much, because the symptoms are simply fever. All of us had fever before. Coughing. All of us have coughed before. A little dry throat. All of us had a dry throat before. And the vast majority of people who just have this and a bit of body tiredness. Who has not been tired before? So unlike other sicknesses, diseases that you can see, sometimes you get spots on your face, right? Sometimes you get like malaria, just shivering all the time. Hey, even a non-doctor will tell you, that's malaria. Or dengue. Wow, your body aches are so terrible. And then you see your face getting like rashes. Of course, if you have that, everybody will run away from you. And you will stay away from other people. But in COVID-19, the vast majority, 80% of people who have the virus have so little symptoms, so mild, that they don't know it is COVID-19. So what do? They go out. They talk. They laugh. They hug their friends. And the virus is spreading to others, who then get a bit of fever, a bit of cough, and spread. And they don't know they have COVID until one day, one person they contacted, maybe an older person, generally older people, 60 and above, gets really sick, gets pneumonia, cannot breathe, and goes to the hospital. And everybody said, COVID-19, right? And he dies. Then they start to test. How did he get it? Then the son will say, I don't know. All I had was just a cough. Oh, you got COVID test. Son got COVID. Then ask the son, how do you get it? I don't know. I just have my office friends. And we work together. And then they test the office friends. Oh, they had it. They didn't know. But because of one guy died, then they realized. And then another one will die. One of their fathers will die. And one of their opung will die. And then, oh my goodness, there's so much COVID here. But the problem is, right up to this point, not many people are tested. I mean, do you want to go for a test when you got a little bit of flu, a bit of virus, a bit of sore throat? Even if you wanted to go for the test, there are not enough tests. Most countries don't have enough tests. Most towns don't even have the test. Most hospitals don't even have the test. Until the man and dies, and they say, maybe that is COVID, not sure. But they can't test. He already mati. So they bury him. Then they write there, pneumonia, heart attack. Why? Because that's what he had. After the COVID-19 becomes serious, it becomes pneumonia. Cannot breathe. Then he died from pneumonia. Okay, so what have you learned from these little things I've just said to you? Number one, there are thousands, millions of people going around and spreading, giving to us. We don't know. And we may be spreading. We don't know. Until you realize, my opung just died. Kenapa? Why? He's healthy before. Suddenly, pneumonia, heart attack. How come? Maybe it's COVID. But you know what? When you bring the hospital, I think, Pak, my opong got COVID. The hospital said, I don't know, tak ada test, mana tahu. So, they give him oxygen, everything, then he mati. That's happened all over the world. So number one, very infectious, because you can spread it without knowing. You can get it without knowing, and then spread it to others without knowing, until some people start to mati. Secondly, next thing you need to learn about this virus is it's underreported. Every country doesn't have enough tests. Tests are not cheap to do. If you want to test everybody that has a cough, a cold, and fever, your country will go bankrupt. Your hospital tak cukup orang technician to test. Okay? So the truth is, when you say there's no coronavirus in your quota, it simply means there is no testing. You find the most advanced countries like America has the largest number of coronavirus. Kenapa? Orang Amerika not hygienic? Orang Amerika bodoh? No. They test more, that's all. Singapore, tinggi. Banyak people with coronavirus. Banyak. Why? Orang Singapore tak tahu cuci tangan, tak tahu pakai face mask. No, nothing to do with that. Orang Singapore weak, so they get sick. No. They test, that's all. So when you see a country at a number of cases high, it just means they do more testing. How come in America, so many orang mati? Europe, in Germany, France, Spain, banyak people mati. Why? They test lah. After the man mati, they check, coronavirus, bukan pneumonia. Not heart attack, coronavirus causing heart attack. In other countries, heart attack lah. Kenapa heart attack, doktor? Kenapa heart attack? Bapak strong. Ya, heart attack. Banyak orang ada heart attack lah. That's all. Then, kuburan. So, when you see the data, please, don't believe that there is no coronavirus in your place. When you say nobody died from coronavirus, please, it means nobody was tested when they mati, whether it was from coronavirus or not. Okay, so I hope you understand. Low data doesn't mean low coronavirus. It means low testing. That's all. Okay, I know personally, in Indonesia, personally, people who died from coronavirus, tapi doctor certificate, pneumonia. Another one, heart attack. 40-year-old man, 40-something, heart attack. Really? As a doctor, I said, that's coronavirus, 100%. But no test in that place, in that quota, okay? I'm telling you the facts. Okay? So I hope you get a clear understanding, right? Now, when will this end? I don't know. Nobody knows. Maybe God will just take it away. Maybe. But medically speaking, right? I'm talking as a doctor now, okay? The virus will continue spreading more and more as one person pass to another and pass until a vaccine is discovered that is good, effective, and safe. So how long would that take to discover the vaccine? As a doctor, I tell you, okay? My guess, minimum 2 years. That's from doctors' experience, because throughout human history, it takes usually 4-5 years to produce a safe and good vaccine. Not easy. Today there's fake news everywhere. Oh, this place discover a vaccine. This place discover a vaccine. Don't believe. All that is for publicity. If you have a company and you say you discovered something, news, you become famous. Everybody likes to be famous. Companies like to be famous. Scientists like to be famous. This is the best time you can make fake news and everybody wants to believe you. But let me tell you, getting a right, safe and good vaccine is very difficult, especially in a new virus. My guess, 2 years. Minimum. After the 2 years, let's say vaccine discovered, good one, safe. You have to produce juta every day, because you have to give people the vaccine. That will take time to produce. Then you have to take and inject satu. How many juta orang in Indonesia? How long will that take to vaccinate everybody? Long time. How much money will cost? Banyak. So, how many more years? 2 years to get the vaccine. Produce it. Banyak. Maybe 1-2 years. Vaccinate everybody. 4-5 years. Until then, everybody will be fearful of getting the virus. So, what happens? What can we do? 4 or 5 years. What can we do in the 4 or 5 years? Not much. Cuci tangan, make sure your hand is clean, don't touch things, and then touch your nose, touch your eye, touch your mouth. You get the virus. That's number 1. Number 2, pakai mask. Good mask, not just build a kain mask. No, proper doctor's mask, surgical mask, N95. Minimum. How many masks in Indonesia ada? Not in many N95 masks. All sold out. Then, after you pakai mask, you still have to be distanced. If you have the virus, if I have virus, when I talk, softly, talk soft. 1 meter, you have to stay away. Because the virus, and then jatuh on the floor. Then jatuh after 1 meter. If I talk loud, maybe 2 meters. If I go to church, I sing, hallelujah, 3 meters. The virus lari everywhere. I breathe, kena my mata, enter my mouth, I kena. So, what will happen? People will stay away from one another. Have to, no choice. I don't want to mati. I don't want to get infected and I give to my bapa or my opong. Opong mati nanti. Usually older people. But young people they give to old people mati. So, what do? Stay away. Right? Problem. Church. How to stay away? Dekat-dekat. You sit next to me, I sit next to you. I sing, the person sit in front, virus go to him. Go. Right? So what will happen? For a few years. People takut to go to crowded places. Old people may takut to go to church because they heard somebody mati in this church, somebody mati there. I better don't go. Maybe families, anak-anak takut to mau Sunday school. You go to Sunday school, the children main, you give them masker, they tarik down, their tangan, touch this, touch their mata. Oh, hygiene, children susah. Better don't go to church. So, what happens? Many will not go to church. Even if church buka, orang takut. Then, some have to take angkut. 1 meter in angkut. How to sit 1 meter angkut? 1 meter sini, 1 meter sana, opposite. How many people can sit angkut? Few. If angkut few passengers, tak cukup business kan? The man driving the angkut rugi. Every time he drive few passenger aja, might as well don't drive. Transportasi pun stop. Restaurants, you sit so near and makan, how? When you makan, you cannot pakai masker. How? So restaurant, orang pun takut. Fewer people in that restaurant. Rugi. If you own a restaurant, tutup lah. What for do business to rugi? Right? So, office, sama. Most office dekat-dekat. Then how? People have to go to work. So what happens? Many will be jobless. Restaurant tutup, companies tutup, transportasi tutup. No wang lah. Kampung usually okay. Kampung ada distance. You have your garden to work in, your farm, kebun, okay. Cities, difficult. Right? So what is going to happen is that many lives, many people will lose their jobs in the cities. Right? They pulang. When they pulang, they bring the COVID. Because in the city ada banyak orang with COVID. Go back. Right now, from spreading from Jakarta to East Java, and from East Java orang pulang, all spreading slowly. Belum, coming, akan datang. Right? And then soon, they will have no jobs. Now, many young people are working in Jakarta, Bandung, Batam. No jobs, pulang lah. Right? What's going to happen? When people have no jobs, how to give to the church? Right? So what's going to happen? Pastors are going to feel it. First, people don't come. When they don't come, tak ada offering. Even if they come, tak ada wang. So, what's going to happen? It's going to affect us. That's why I'm bringing this up. It's not something for medical problem. No. It's our problem. Pendeta problem. Right? And when this lasts for some time, you know what's going to happen? There'll be problems in the home because tak ada wang, quarrel, husband and wife. Sometimes schools will have to tutup because anak banyak kena sakit. Guru-guru pun sakit. Bapak guru-guru pun sakit. How? Tutup sekolah. When tutup, kids at home, quarreling, noisy, tak ada wang, tak ada makan, fighting at home. Problems. You see, many of us hope this is not true. I hope this is not true. You think I like to give this kind of message? No, nobody likes to give this type of bad news. I don't like to bring. Injil, I like to bring. Good news. Berita baik. Bad news. I wish I don't have to say these things. But I have to say it because as a doctor, I think I understand this. And if I don't tell you and warn you, I'm not doing what is right. I must do right. I know I won't be popular with this. I know many will say, this man, don't trust God. God can remove. I know God can remove. But maybe God has a reason for allowing COVID-19. This man thinks he's so smart. No. To be honest, I tell you, I don't know. This is what I think. I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I think from my training, from my understanding of medicine, it's not, the virus will not just go away. It will spread. From my training, producing a vaccine is very difficult. Very difficult, especially with a new virus. So I'm just telling you the facts. I hope you will pray about this and think about this. And I hope you will prepare. As leaders, we must know, do our best, and then trust God to do the rest. This is not easy for me to do. In fact, people warn me that don't say this part. People will attack you. Because bad news nobody likes to hear. Right? And people will say, you are causing problems. I said, no. I believe if I know something and I don't share, I may not be right. But what I know, I must share. I believe everything I said from a medical viewpoint is correct. God is still higher than any medicine, higher than any scientist. God is still there. And I pray God will take it, the virus away. But if God does not, for whatever reason He has, I want to be ready. And I want my dear brothers and sisters, pendetas in Indonesia, to be ready so that we can serve God as best we can in the new situation that we are in.